Good afternoon. Seth Little here with Jeffords Anthony Law Firm in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Coming to you today on Friday, October 24th, 2025. And we are in the midst of a government shutdown that does not look to be ending anytime soon. So, what does that mean for taxpayers? What does that mean for the IRS? We're just going to discuss that and dispel some of the myths some of you may have about what a government shutdown actually means. The government is shut down. Non-essential employees are being furloughed. That means at the IRS as well. Non-essential employees at the IRS are currently furloughed. That would include the employees that do the complex audits, that process payments, anyone that would maybe be there to talk to you on the phone if you got a letter. Those people are probably furloughed, and you're probably going to look at long hold times and not being able to get anybody on the phone. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're good to go, that you don't have the deadlines, that you don't have the obligations that you previously had? Absolutely not. While some of these employees at the IRS are furloughed, most of the people that are not furloughed and essential at the IRS would include the collection staff. So there are people at the IRS that are still working, that are doing collections, that are still trying to collect on overdue taxes. Also, the collections department of the IRS has largely become automated. So AI automation is being used on these collection letters where they're set to a certain calendar. So if you get a letter from the IRS saying you owe a certain amount of money and that letter goes unanswered or you don't pay, once that time period passes, then the automation at the IRS is automatically sending you that other letter, whether they're furloughed or not, whether there's a shutdown or not. So, number one, tax law is not furloughed. Tax law is not shut down. So if you owe money to the IRS and you haven't paid it yet, then that doesn't go away. The shutdown has no effect on that. The deadlines do not go away. The deadlines are not told or stopped just because the government shut down. So if you've received a letter from the IRS asking you to do something within a certain period of time, 30 days, 60 days, that still applies. You still have that deadline. You still have to send in whatever you need to send in to respond by that period of time. So there's nothing that's extinguished or delayed with your obligations to the IRS. So all that's completely the same. Number two is what's going to happen when the government comes out of shutdown. And that's actually going to be even worse for you if you do the IRS when they come out of shutdown. Because what happens when there's a government shutdown? What happens when tons of people at a government agency are furloughed? There's going to be a huge backlog. All these audits, all these things that the IRS was working on when they were furloughed, that's just going to pile up. Millions and millions of people across America have dealings with the IRS, and none of that, or the majority of that, is not getting handled right now during the shutdown. So what's going to happen when they become not furloughed, they come out of the shutdown, they go back to work? They're going to get to this backlog and they're going to go after the more pressing matters, which would be the audits, which would be the collections. What's going to happen if you owe money to the IRS and you're in shutdown right now? When they come out of shutdown, they're really going to focus on your matters, the matters of people who owe money to the IRS and haven't paid, who are in collections. While normally, when there's not a government shutdown, maybe they'll be going at their own reasonable, normal pace. They're going to expedite that when they shut down ends. So if you owe money to the IRS, if you're in collections right now, I'm telling you, when they come out of the government shutdown, they're really going to be aggressive. They're really going to focus on those of you that are in collections. So what does that mean? What do you need to do? You need to take advantage of this lull right now. You're probably not going to be able to get anybody on the phone very easily. So if you owe money, you're in collections, first of all, use this time to get your documentation together. Use this time to come up with a plan for how you're going to pay this. Or if you have money right now, they're still taking payments online or through the mail. Make your payments, pay what you can. And that way, when the government and the IRS come out of shutdown, you can show them that you've made payments, that you've attempted to make this right. And that'll make it a lot easier for them to work something out with you when they come out of shutdown. And then if you are trying to contact the IRS and you're not successful, or they just give you just a ridiculously long hold period, document that. Make a journal. Just make any kind of record that you can of the times that you've attempted to contact the IRS about your situation. That will help make it more smoothly when they do get in contact with you and you're trying to work something out. The last thing is, if the way to take care of this lull, this shutdown period, this is a time you can get with an attorney. So if you owe just a large amount to the IRS, $50,000 or more, or you're extremely delinquent when it comes to past returns that you haven't filed or amounts from years past that you haven't paid, use this time to get with an attorney, talk about your situation. And that way, when the government and the IRS come out of shutdown, you can have a plan of action and attack it immediately after the shutdown. Just like the IRS is going to attack their collections efforts when they come back, you can be ready for it. If you have any other questions, just visit our website at jeffordsanthony.com. We can help you with these tax issues. Look at our YouTube channel. We've got several videos on how to handle it if you owe money to the IRS, how to handle it if you have past due returns, and then a number of other educational videos on how to handle taxes. Also, look in the description and in the comments. We've got a IRS report on how to handle it and what your options are if you do owe money to the IRS that you can't pay. It's a free PDF that's very helpful. And if you don't mind, and subscribe, and we'll be back with more videos.